Hey, good morning, people. Finishing up a Memorial Day weekend, and I'd like to talk a little bit about objections to sales versus conditions of sale. What do you do when the customer says, I don't have any money, it's not the right time, a myriad of excuses, and how to get to the bottom of it. But first, I have something for you to ponder. We'll address this at the end of the video. What do you say when you have a purchasing manager that's been doing this for 30 years, a major Fortune 50 company, who's bought millions of dollars of equipment? What do you do when he looks you in the eye and says, boy, you're fucking me? What is your response as that young sales guy? How do you reply to that situation? So think about this, because it has happened to me, and I'll tell you how I dealt with it. But in any event, we're going into objections versus conditions of sale. Well, first of all, there's only two reasons people buy. There's pain and there's pleasure. Pain is when your car broke down, irreparable, head gasket finally went, it's not worth fixing. You need a work car for Monday. This is a worst case for the buyer. It's the best case for the seller, that used car guy. These sharks can sense that immediately and come in for the kill. And that's operating out of pain. Pleasure, one word. Louis Vuitton, $1,500 up purse. If that's not buying for pleasure, it sure is not out of pain, except for the boyfriend or the husband, but that's the other scenario. People do not buy this type of equipment out of pleasure. You're not going to go to the Rotary Club or the Country Club as the owner of JBC Job Shop and say, hey, I just got a new 5-axis CNC milling machine, blah, blah, blah. No. You buy this out of need or pain because you have a contract, you've got to make the parts, or you have to inspect the parts. You need this piece of capital equipment to complete the contract. You can put the bid in. You went with a bunch of other vendors vying for the same contract, and you were successful in that you got the bid. Now the rubber meets the road because you got to get the price that you want at the delivery you want and the performance that you want. And that's why you call in the sales guy. The salesman would not be there unless there was a need. And that narrows down the objections. Let me just give you an idea of what is out there on the internet. Common sales objections. Now look, when I'm going through this, you figure out what is a true objection and what is a condition of sale. Too expensive. There's no money. We don't have any budget left. I need to use this budget somewhere else. I don't want to get stuck in a contract. You ever buy a cell phone? We're already working with another vendor. I'm locked into a contract with a competitor. I can get a cheaper version elsewhere. Well, yeah, all right. So what are you doing here? What'd you ask me for? I'm happy with your competitor. Well, again, what am I doing here? Competitor X says blah, 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 false statements about your product. I'm not authorized to sign off on this. Well, what are you, sales guy, doing talking to this clown if he doesn't even have the authority to at least submit and get you to the guy that can sign off? I can't sell this internally. Same thing. Not convinced. We're being downsized, bought out. There's too much going on right now. I'm part of a buying group. Well, hello? Food club? Going to Wally World? I've never heard of your company. We're doing great in this area. We don't have any business plan. It's just not important right now. Not important right now. I think George Custer said that to the machine gun salesman at the Little Bighorn. I don't have time to see a salesman now. I'm busy, I don't understand your product. You don't have to. That's why you got me. I've heard complaints about you from the company. Well, that's anybody that knows me is going to have complaints. Yeah. We don't have any capacity to implement the product. Your product is just too complicated. So is life. Get used to it. This is what you say under your breath. You just go along and let them have their say. Then you come back and cut them to ribbons because you know the situation. Let's see. You don't understand my challenges. I need help from X, not Y. You don't understand my business. Your product doesn't have X feature and we need it. We're happy the way things are. Progressive company, you'll last a long time. Making buggy whips, eh? How's that working out for you? I don't see the potential for ROI, return on investment. It's just a fad. That's my line. He stole my line. The internet's just a fad. It'll never last. That's my line. Your product doesn't work with our current setup. Well, get out of the blacksmith business and into something that was current, maybe you'd be competitive. Let's see, your product sounds great, but I'm too swamped right now. Click. I'm busy right now. I'm not interested. Just send me some information. Call me back next quarter. How did you get my information? I hate you. Well, that's normal. Okay, when you get down to it, those are stalls, or those are excuses on why you're not selling. A condition of sale is something you cannot change, the customer cannot change. If the funds are not there, there's no discount, delivery, all the free software, a 5-year warranty is not going to make a bit of difference because you're not going to get the sale. But then again, nobody else is going to get the sale. What you can do is keep the file up to date and come back. Don't ever write this off unless they go and hang a out of business sign on the front door. It all comes down to objections come down to 2 areas. Well, really, it could get into 3 areas. Price, technical, the trust issue, and the 4th one is stall. And a stall is usually not the customer's fault. It's a condition of sale, again, that you cannot do anything about. And a stall, to me, is a temporary situation. That's why you keep all the records on file, keep copious notes so you can pick it up in 3, 6, or even a year after the fact. The last time I was in here, you were looking at a machine that could do X, Y, Z. Since then, we've got one that can do that, plus many more features. When can I give you a call and stop in and follow up with you, because we've got some nice features here. And from what you've indicated, the economy's picked up and there's going to be a need. Now, there was a need before. Is that need still current? And that's how you get back into this. And the fact is that he's talked to you before. You've got a modicum of credibility. So it comes back into, let's talk about trust. Trust, reputation, quality. It's not going to do any, you never negative sell. You don't badmouth the competition. You never do that. 1, it's not professional. And 2, the customer sees that, and that's the lowest bottom feeding, price cutting, gouging salesmanship that you can express. The way things are worded now in legalese on the terms and condition of sale, which is a multi-page addendum to the request for quotation, you got a whole bunch of performance that's got to be done in order to get paid for the machine. It could even include a runoff at the manufacturer's facility where they fly in and you show them the machine and its performance. We addressed this earlier on the sales process, the runoff and what's required with that. Additionally, there's a lot of clauses in there, legalese, that have been added over the years, and we're talking about maybe 100 years that the company's been in business or longer, that have been added because they ran into a situation that caused problems after the installation. That's the other thing is, with the internet now and instant availability, it's very doubtful that you're not going to be known and not be checked out. You got things like Dun & Bradstreet, the Better Business Bureau, that can check out the quote-unquote reputation side of the house. So that's, just remember this, don't badmouth the competition. It's not good. That brings us to 2 things, and one is the price situation. And on that, we will probably wait until I do a one on return on investment to show you the steps on making a cost justification of this product. and address price where you're actually building value. You're, right out of the gate, you should build in the customer's mind the fact that if you are going to be overpriced, say that up front. Say, we're not cheap, and the reason we're not cheap is we give you one heck of a value that may not be apparent to you, but will become apparent in this process. And the other thing is a technical aspect, which is a true objection. If there is no way you can meet the requirement that they want this type of programming language because everybody else is trained on that programming language and you cannot provide that, you got to realize you're going uphill with this, and tell that to anybody that's seeking a forecast from you. Say, look, I'm talking to these folks. It's not looking too good because they're a blah, blah, blah software house. Everybody's trained on that software. Or maybe they're that brand where they've got 7 or 8 installations in this plant, and 2 plants in South Carolina have the same blah, blah, blah. And you're coming in for the first time offering a quotation. Unless you really got your ducks together, it's going to be a hard sell. So that's the 2 right there, price and technical issues. Those can be overcome, but you got to have a very good mastery of your product, like a competitive analysis, so that you know every feature the competition has, you have this feature that can do X, Y, and Z. And you got to have this immediately up here. Which brings us back to that initial question of what you say to that buyer. I'm going to be putting this on the comments, but you take these words and you write them down on a piece of paper and you put them on the dashboard of your car. Every time you're in the car, going to a call or going to work, you repeat this. Basically what you're going to say is, I'm a sales professional. I'm a valuable asset because I save you time and money. I've done this before and I know all the problems before, during, and after installation. So what would take you weeks and months to find out, I can tell you in minutes. I've been there and done that. I've got the experience. I know this product and I know the problems. Are we going to go forward and solve this together? Or am I going to go help somebody that appreciates my years of experience? And do not say another word, because when you do, you're being subsequent to them, and he knows he's got you. It's probably a shit test from this guy, and it was, to see if you'd blink. What you do not do is apologize, saying, I'm sorry you feel this way. Who says that? You haven't done a damn thing that requires an apology. You're a sales professional, you say this, you practice this, so you got it in top of mind when somebody tries to give you a shit test like this. And that's how you handle that situation. I was lucky in the fact that I was close to having this same affirmation when I was dealing with this fellow. But the bottom line is, I looked him in the eye, I called his bluff, said I was a sales professional. Are we going forward or not? Because it would have hit the fan if he did turn us away, because we'd been requested by the owner. And this guy was just running a shit test on a young, bushy-haired guy when I had hair. But that's how you call that bluff. Anyway, it's been a nice Memorial Day, beautiful weekend, and hope you enjoyed it too, and I'm out of here.